Today we're meeting with Elaine Varelis. Elaine is managing partner of Keystone Partners, a leading outplacement and talent management consulting firm headquartered in Boston, Massachusetts. Now she has over 20 years experience in career consulting and coaching for Fortune 500 companies, startup ventures, and not-for-profit organizations. She is one of the most qualified experts to answer our questions from the front. And then we're now joined by Elaine, and we want to thank you very much for joining us. And you're going to help us navigate our way through this treacherous waters of kind of like the interviewing process. Let's start off with, what is the proper behavior when you go into an interview?
The beginning of an interview is really about all of the research that you've done up front. So you really want to make sure that you're very prepared for everything that you want to say, everything that you want to ask, and all of the potential questions that you might be asked.
Now, as far as that's concerned, we all want to go into an interview kind of open-minded and willing to answer all the questions, but how personal should you get into that interview session?
You really need to be very respectful. So the interviewer sets the tone of how friendly, how formal, how informal. You need to be on your best behavior. This is very friendly, but well behaved, whether it's from the receptionist right at the front of the office to everyone who might walk you someplace. So that professionalism really matters. You don't know what's the right culture. So the more formal you are, the less trouble you could get into.
Now, how would you prepare yourself for an interview? Now, every interview is quite different. What sort of questions, or how should you prepare yourself for these different type of interviews?
If you have a good sense of what the job is that you're interviewing for, then you're going to know what the most important parts of your abilities are, and you'll know what the things you want to highlight about your own experience are. So you really need to be very prepared to do that. You also want to research the company. What's going on with the company? What are their current challenges? What are the things that they're faced with in the market? Where are they doing well? Where are they not doing well? You need to be able to talk about how you can help them based on whatever challenges they currently have in the marketplace.
Now, each situation is different, and a lot of times you should, I guess, expect the unexpected, so to speak. What happens when someone throws you for a loop or any sort of questions that might be out of line?
You always want to have a pause statement. That's a very good question, is a good pause statement. Something that gives you a moment or two just to compose yourself. If it's something that's out of line toward the illegal kinds of questions, you really need to be careful. There might be times when you can say, geez, I'm not sure that's the real question you want to ask. What else is there? But if you're really interested in the position, you might recognize that the interviewer may not be as skilled as you would have hoped. So you'll try to answer the question almost like a politician, not necessarily what was asked, but what it is that you'd like to offer.
I know you've got a lot of horror stories that you could tell us about. Anything that kind of sticks out, and some things that you've seen and that you'd like to point out?
Well, I think people do some foolish things. One would be arriving late. They didn't find out where the company was or which building the location was, so they'll arrive late for an interview. They'll chat up the receptionist and ask all sorts of inappropriate questions. You really want to stay away from that. We've had people arrive dressed inappropriately, very, very casually, when it's not that kind of environment. So you need to be, on the best behavior of selling yourself as a great product in every interview you go to. Well,
you brought up the subject of dressing. I would assume that you would wear something that's presentable, conservative maybe, or should be appropriate for the job.
Conservative is always the best way to go. Again, you stay out of trouble that way. People will often say, come business casual. I'd still advise that you come more conservatively dressed, have a jacket with you. It just makes you look professional, but no one's really focused on what you're wearing or not wearing.
Is there a difference in dressing between men and women? Is there a separate set of rules? Maybe that's what I'm asking, maybe for women as opposed to men.
Some of the rules are actually very similar. Silly things from making sure that your shoes are polished. Whether you're a man or a woman, that really does matter. Be careful of perfume or cologne. Really minimize that. You don't want to be offensive, and it bothers a number of people. Making sure you don't have jewelry that makes a lot of noise. So those are the kinds of things that you really want to pay attention to. And again, that professional attire, the navy, the black suit, all of that works very, very well.
Elaine, thank you very much for those very special tips. I know I could use them and all of our viewers could use them, and thank you very much.
Thanks very much,
And we'll see you soon.
Sounds good.